Hello, 8th graders. It's Miss Roberge here. I'm going to go over some of the questions from the genetics practice for science class the week of April 27th. I am not doing all of them. They are all done the exact same way. So once you have a few, you are able to complete them all. However, that does mean you might have to go back a couple times, rewatch this, make sure you understand it. It's not a good time to just fast forward and get the answers. That is my advice to you. You're going to high school soon. I want you to do great. Let's start. I'm just going to quickly go over the definitions from page 1 of this assignment. Now remember, everybody, you have to download a copy of the assignment. There is no way to do this assignment by typing it in or unless you're going to write every question out and take pictures. It is really essential that you download it, save a copy of it to your OneDrive, and then you can upload it to Miss Christie or myself. Please be sure you're following directions. A lot of instances of not listening and not following directions going on right now. All right? I know this is hard, but we have to all work together. Okay. Definitions. Start with homozygous. Homozygous means having two of the same alleles. So alleles are represented by uppercase and lowercase numbers. In homozygous ones, they would both be uppercase or both be lowercase. Heterozygous is a little different. That's having two different alleles. So in that case, you'd have one uppercase letter and one lowercase letter. Dominant. These are the alleles that present themselves. These are the traits we see. So if somebody has a dominant allele for curly hair, they're going to have curly hair on the outside. We're going to see that every day. A recessive allele are those that are lost or absent. So the dominant has taken over them. Therefore, the dominant trait is shown. An allele is just the copy of the trait that you get from your parents. A trait, we all know what this means. It's a characteristic someone has that's been determined by genetics in this case. We use that to describe characteristics of people that aren't determined by genetics all the time. But for this case, it is. Phenotype, that's your physical appearance. So it's what you look like. And physical starts with PH and phenotype starts with PH. And genotype is the actual genetic code or the pair of alleles that an organism has. And genetic starts with G and genotype starts with G. So that's a good way to help you remember that. Finally, offspring, they're just the product or the result of something. In this case, we're talking about the children, the babies, the young that is produced. All right, so we went over the definitions. Let's talk about these questions here. Out of the following genotypes, remember, that's the genetic code. Circle any that are homozygous for a trait. So homozygous, when you see the word homo, you know that means same. So that's a prefix for the word same. So for this first example, all you're going to do is circle all of the ones that have two letters that are exactly the same. So, I see that, I see that, I see that, and I see one more. I'm not going to tell you what one. You figure it out, but I think you can handle that. Number 2, out of the following genotypes, circle any that are homozygous dominant. That means that there's going to be 2 capital letters. So you're just going to circle the options that have 2 capital letters. I'm going to give you one. You have to find the second one. Number 3, out of the following genotypes, circle any that are homozygous recessive. Now we see homo again, so we know that means same, but recessive means you're going to have small letters. So for this one, you just have to circle the ones that have all lowercase. So I'm going to give you one. But you need to find one more. I think you can. Number 4, out of the following genotypes, circle any that are heterozygous for a trait. So when you see the word hetero, the prefix hetero, that means different. So So when you see two different letters, same letter, but one uppercase, one lowercase, that would make something heterozygous. So I'm going to give you an example on each of these. There's one, and there's one. But for number 4, there's one more. And for number 5, there's 2 more. You go ahead and find those. Let's move on to number 6. So a Punnett square. This is a setup. They gave you where the letters go, okay? TT, TT, uppercase, lowercase, all right? One parent has the double capital T's and one parent has the double lowercase t's. That's given to you right here in this information. So whenever you see something like this and they give you this information right here, this is how you set it up. Like if I said that I am dominant with MM, but my husband has a recessive gene, we would set it up like this. This would be me, this would be him, and I would be capital M, and he would be capital M, lowercase m. And then all you're doing is matching them up, okay? So for here, I see 2 capital M's, capital M, that means. For here, again, 2 capital M's. Now this is the box that's different because I have a capital M and a lowercase m. So they get one of each. And then here, capital, lowercase. So all you're doing is matching them up. So let's go do it with the T's. All right. So in this box, and you find where they meet. So these two go together in this box. So I see a capital T and a lowercase t. So that is how it is written. Now this one and this one go together in this box. And again, I have a capital T and a lowercase t. So that's how it is written. And the capital always goes first because it is dominant. In this box, I need this and this. Again, capital T, lowercase t. And then finally, in my last box, I again have a capital T and a lowercase t. So all you're doing is matching them up, like on a graph, okay? This box represents this and this. This box represents this and this. You might have to get that clear in your head, but it's kind of like working on a coordinate plane in math class. So now the questions ask, are these parents heterozygous or homozygous? So let's remember, hetero means different. Homo means same. So both parents, 2 lowercase t's, 2 uppercase t's. So although they will be creating heterozygous children, both parents themselves are actually homozygous because they both have the same letter. There's no uppercase, lowercase mixture. One parent's all uppercase, one parent's all lowercase. So what is the probability that the offspring, now that's the babies, will be homozygous? Homo, same. So let's look at the result. In the boxes, these little T's that we came up with, that's what the offspring would be. So I see that in every box there's a capital T and a lowercase t. That means that the offspring, no matter what, are heterozygous. There's no combinations that's 2 uppercases or 2 lowercases. And what is the probability? Oh, I did not answer B correctly. What is the probability that they will be homozygous? Since they're completely heterozygous, 0. There is a 0% probability that they're going to be homozygous. They all have a capital and a lower. That means that the probability that they'll be heterozygous is 100%. Because remember, probability is always out of 100%. Now with these boxes, each box is worth 25%. It's like quarters in a dollar. So we'll get to some more difficult ones with that, and you'll see what I mean. 7. Having curly hair is dominant over the recessive trait of not having curly hair. A father is heterozygous and has curly hair, while a mother is homozygous for not having curly hair. Okay, so they're saying dad has two different, so he's going to have an uppercase and a lowercase h, but mom has the same, same. But she does not have curly hair. So she's going to have two lowercase h's, mom. Now dad, since he has curly hair, he's got to have the dominant H for curly hair. And it says that he is heterozygous, which means different. So his second allele must be a lowercase h. Can't be the same. They're telling us that they're different. In the space below, complete a Punnett square for the possible offspring if this mother and father have a child. So we'll put mom here. And we'll put dad here. Mom, we say, is HH. Dad is capital HH. Now I just match them up. You do not have to use different colors. I'm just doing that to help you see it. You see how each box gets one allele from mom and one allele from dad. So that would be the possible offspring. Looks like they'd have a 50% chance because two of the boxes are the same. This one and this one are the same. And then this one and this one are the same. This would be recessive, not curly hair. This would be dominant with curly hair. All right, number 8. We just have to indicate whether something is heterozygous. Remember what heterozygous means? Different, which is one uppercase, one lowercase. Homozygous recessive means same. Since they're recessive, they're both lowercase. Homozygous dominant means same again, but they'd be both capitals. So I'm going to help you with a couple, but then I want you to try it. So let's look at this one. They are different. That means there's only one option. It is heterozygous. Let's pick one more. I see this one. They're both lowercases and they're the same. That means they're homozygous. Recessive. I want you to do the other 3 on your own. I think you can figure it out. 2 are the same, both capitals, and 1 has both a capital and a lowercase, which makes it different. Number 9. For each of the genotypes below, determine the phenotype. Being tall is dominant to being short. So remember, the phenotype is your physical appearance. So how you'll actually look. So will you be tall or will you be short? And remember, being tall is dominant. So that big T, if you see it, probably means they're going to be tall. So I'm going to help you out with one of these. I will say 2 of them are tall and 1 of them is short. I see the big T twice here, so I know that means tall. Now, which other one is tall and which one is short? Remember what the big T means. The big T means tall. All right, we're going to do another Punnett square. The trait that is being studied is free earlobes, which is dominant, and attached earlobes, which is recessive. This is an interesting topic. If you wanted to look it up on your own, you could. I learned about it in high school biology in 9th grade, and I remember it. So that's kind of interesting. So let's put parent 1 here, and we'll put parent 2 over here. So we have E, and then a lowercase e, And then we have 2 lowercase e's. So let's fill the box in. This box is going to get the uppercase E from here and the lowercase e from here. This box is going to get the lowercase e from here and the lowercase e from here. This box will get the lowercase e from here, and we'll also get the uppercase E from there. Finally, this box will get the lowercase e from here and the lowercase e from here. So free earlobes are dominant, so that means the big E equals free earlobes. That just means they're not attached to your face. If you play with your earlobe, you'll see what I mean. So we need to figure out how many of these have the big E dominant. Well, 1, 2. Remember, each box is 25% or a quarter. So if you have 2 quarters, you'd have 50 cents, right? So that means there's a 50% chance. Number 11, the trait being studied is round seeds. They are capital R and they are dominant, and wrinkled seeds, which are lowercase r, and those are recessive. In the space below, complete a Punnett square for 2 heterozygous pea plants. Hetero. That means different. See, they didn't give us what the parents of the plants were. They made us figure it out ourselves. So I know that since they're different, that means that they are R, uppercase and lowercase. Has to be one of each in order for it to be heterozygous. Now I do the same thing that I've been doing. All I have to do is match them up on the grid, okay? So when I do these two, I get 2 capital R's. When I do these two, I get a capital R and a lowercase r. When I do these two, I get 2 lowercase r's. And when I do these two, I get capital R, lower r. So anyone that has a big R in it will have the dominant trait of round seeds. So I see 1, 2, 3 that have the big R in them. So that's 3 quarters, which is the same as 75%. Okay, let's keep going. Let's do a couple more. Number 13. Complete the following Punnett square where M is the dominant allele, capital M, and lowercase m is the recessive allele. So let's put parent 1 here and parent 2 here. All right, so parent 1 is uppercase, lowercase. You know what I should do? I should make this a little bit of a more pointy M. And parent 2 is 2 uppercase M's. Now I match them up. Both uppercases, uppercase, uppercase. Uppercase, lowercase. Let me make that pointy. There you go. Again, uppercase M, uppercase M. And then finally, uppercase M, lowercase m. The questions. Are these parents heterozygous or homozygous? Well, parent 1 has an uppercase and a lowercase, but parent 2 has 2 uppercase. So there is 1 of each. What is the probability that the offspring will be homozygous recessive? So homozygous recessive would mean 2 lowercase, okay? There are none, right? I see upper, 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 upper. So there's a 0% chance of that happening. Homozygous dominant. Homozygous dominant just means that you would have 2 capital letters. So I can see that in this, we have 2 examples of that. So that's like having 2 quarters, which is the same as 50%. And what is the probability that the offspring will be heterozygous, which as we know means 2 different. And we have 2 boxes that have a capital and a lowercase, which makes them heterozygous, which is 2 quarters, which is also the same as 50%. Okay. The rest of the problems are very similar. You now have enough examples that you are able to complete the rest of this on your own. If you need help, I'm here to help you. But I expect that you've actually listened to and watched this video. Okay? You know I love you guys, but we all have to try our hardest here. And I know it is really, really hard. Anyway, I miss you. I hope you're doing well. Stay well. Keep taking care of your families. Make sure you're nice to your parents. Don't give them too much, sass and whatnot. And I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.